Greetings and welcome to the Mount Rushmore podcast. My name's Jeff, and I'm joined, as always, by my good buddies Richard.
Hello.
And Michael.
Howdy.
These guys are going to go head-to-head, an all-out opinion war when we debate and deliberate.
Is this an opinion war or an info war? Because one of them I know no one's allowed to do anymore.
I don't think they'll allow us.
There'll be no info in this war.
Blocked from Apple everything. No InfoWars. We are talking about and deliberating the Mount Rushmore of comfort foods. Richard chose it. Why?
I don't know why. I think I must have been hungry.
Well, define
I must have been hungry. It's
define
probably the best
food.
option. Comfort food is something that's not necessarily something that when you're feeling, it makes you feel warm inside.
Okay.
Typically.
Okay.
You know, or when you're feeling down, it's kind of a good food to help make you feel a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily your favorite meals, even necessarily. But it's more kind of the ones that make you feel sort of warm and happy inside.
Okay.
Might remind you of something.
I think you can't go to a fancy French restaurant and get like comfort food. I think that there has to be. It feels, at least for me, there often has to be a level of simplicity or maybe even just reminiscence.
All four of mine are junk trash. So yeah.
Okay.
You know what first came to my mind was that last scene in Ratatouille where the food chef is wooed by the peasant meal that is served to him by
that reminds him of his youth or whatever before he got all jaded. But I think I don't know, I think there's something about very elegantly prepared food that might be delicious and amazing, but I don't know if it ever hits that level of comfort food. At least that's the kind of the way that I'm interpreting it.
I think you got it.
We can assume it was perhaps prepared by a relative and consumed at a young age at home, or something like that.
And shaped your world ever since.
Shaped your world, rocked your world. All right, so Richard chose it, so Michael begins.
Buttered noodles with Parmesan cheese, and that's it.
That's all four.
Don't do nothing else.
Four choices.
Don't try to put anything else on it. What are you doing?
Oh,
why are you bringing that near me?
Hey, you want
I don't
some
want
broccoli?
any of that
What
on
about some
there.
shrimp?
How about a
Get away.
A rabe.
Get away. Get that broccoli rabe away from me.
Ragu.
There's nothing that I like better than to get like a 7 or 8 ounce bag of that fresh fettuccine, like the fresh contadina pasta, and just cook it up in 2 minutes. Put some butter on it, some Parmesan cheese. Boom, boom, boom. And I am so satisfied. And I think it comes from me being a very picky eater growing up. And I'll eat like just about anything now. Like I like a good pasta, very like I was saying, very like elegantly made pasta is just amazing. But like if I'm at home by myself and Emily's out doing whatever, it's me in a bowl of buttery Parmesan-y pasta, and that's it. And I don't want like, oh, you can like spice it. I don't want those.
Red pepper flakes.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Garlic, scram.
Beat it.
I don't even want like olive oil to get in here. Just get away. All of that stuff. But I think it stems from like me being a kid and being a picky eater, and this is what I liked. And I think it was something that my mom was a very good cook. She's a very good baker and just a very good chef. And I was very stubborn all the way up until like my teenage years, even like into college. I was just very stuck. But that was one thing that always was just like, that's what I want.
That was actually the first meal that my mom taught me how to cook on my own when I was like 11 or 12 or whatever. Because literally, boil the water, put the spaghetti in. Because for me, it was spaghetti.
Yeah. It's all the same. Yeah.
Put the spaghetti in, boil it, cook it, put some butter in. You're done. Add Parmesan if as needed.
Do you think in order to enjoy a comfort food, one must be a culinary adventurer? Like the times that you spend eating food for experimental or cultural reasons or for healthful reasons, that comfort food is there to be just an enjoyable experience. It's not challenging you or not nourishing you.
It's like watching a long running but mediocre sitcom that you've kind of grown up with or something like that.
That's interesting.
It's where it's not. You don't always have to watch The Sopranos or Game of Thrones. Sometimes you just want like a dumb sitcom for a half hour. Yeah. Just kind of melt your brain away, or the Everybody Loves Raymond sort of thing, where if it's on the plane and I stumble on it, I'm probably watching it.
Yeah.
Why do you like this?
But I couldn't really tell you, much about why I don't have like a favorite episode or anything like that. But it's just sort of like, okay.
Yeah.
The one where Ray makes buttered noodles.
I would say
struggles to make buttered noodles because.
Gee. Wait, that was Tennessee
Marty
Tuxedo.
Was that George Washington coming through the time portal?
It's John C. Reilly looking how to make butter noodles. The pasta dishes, wherever I go, despite the ethnicity of the restaurant, they usually have a pasta dish, and that's usually the thing I really want. So if I go to a pad thai or a Thai restaurant, usually I just want pad thai, but can talk myself into a coconut soup. Or if I go to an Italian restaurant, eggplant parmesan, I guess. I just want spaghetti. Is it because pasta is a palate cleanser? It feels like it's a starchy flavor like milk or water that doesn't have an overbearing taste.
I don't know. I know. I remember growing up, I would often drink it with a big glass of milk.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah.
And I would just like, I don't know, overload and go into like this kind of starch milk coma.
White pasty food coma. All right, coming out swinging with pasta. Richard, rebuttal.
My first choice is also a pasta.
Rebuttal. Pasta's bad.
Pasta is bad, says the Italian. My first choice is also a pasta. It is boxed macaroni and cheese.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Preferably the generic store brand.
Oh, I thought you were talking about it's a musical etude. In the next half hour, we're going to play box macaroni and cheese.
Not box.
Concerto. Box concerto.
B-O-X-E-D.
Box craft concerto.
No. The craft is fine. If I'm at a store that doesn't have a generic,
Or like a Kroger, or like a.
but like the Ralph's / whatever their
Kroger
brand is actually superior for whatever reason to the craft brand.
What?
Tip.
What?
Pro tip.
What? How?
It's the
No fucking pretense.
It's the powder.
Bitch.
yeah. It
Get
is.
outta here.
The powder is just a powder. It's the butter noodles of powders.
Big Craft is on the takeover here.
I know, right?
So I feel like store
Kraft,
brands,
the new sponsor.
store
of the
brands take
podcast.
the powder off a Cheeto and put it in a packet.
And for whatever reason, for the Ralph's brand, it works.
It works.
Like I said, craft is fine, but for me, it takes me back to being in college,
Yes.
and where that would be like my dinner because it was fucking broke. So I would stock up on mac and cheese for 50 cents at the local Ralph's, and eat a whole box of that in one sitting, and that was dinner. Between that and ramen noodles, I think that was pretty much my sustenance for most of college.
One of my favorite aspects is when you have like a quarter more than you normally do for dinner, and then you want to gussy up the mac and cheese by putting a little bit extra butter in there, or following the instructions on the ramen packet. It always had
Jeff, somehow a monocle just appeared on his face.
a polyester ascot that I'm wearing, the cheap version of the high class thing. But then because the instructions on the back of the ramen show serving suggestions such as adding shrimp to the recipe, which is totally bullshit. Because if you had shrimp, you would not be.
I would just making
make
shrimp.
You dumbass.
Exactly. A buddy of mine in college, speaking of ramen, used to make chili ramen. He would take like a Hormel's chili, and then add that to the ramen. Fucking disgusting. Get out of here. But you're right about the.
That sounds like a Cincinnati thing or something. Don't
yeah,
chili.
it does, doesn't it? Like the Skyline chili kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cincinnati, but I'm not eating that. No.
I didn't have a boxed mac and cheese or any mac and cheese until I was in college. Until I was like 20, almost 21. It was just something that, because of my picky eating habits, even having like a liquidy cheesy thing on top of noodles was like too much for me.
You were like, yeah, you can make it, but just no cheese. I just want macaroni.
I just want the boxed mac. It was just one of those things that, like, and eventually it was like, just try this, and I had it, and with a little bit of pepper. I know.
Yeah, I get a little crazy there.
A little crazy, but it was just like, I was like, oh, I understand why every child has eaten this since they were 2 years old. Oh yes, and you grow up eating it, and that's like the go-to for every parent to just be like, okay, this will take 7 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is. And
it's a 10-minute meal. Yeah, and it's like great for like a cold kind of rainy night. Kind of warms you up, makes you feel good inside. Get out of here with those.
Get out of here
with the
baked.
Well, yeah, the baked ones, or like the really like the Kraft has like the fancy ones. Yeah, where the cheese comes in a tube. Instead of a powder. Get that out of here.
When you say 10-minute meal, I would also say you better eat that shit in 10 minutes too.
It goes cold.
Yeah,
it goes
turns
cold
nuclear
real fast.
nuclear orange real quick and gets cold, and the tubes are a little bit bigger than a hypodermic. I feel like the tubes on those things, like a big rigatoni noodle is I don't know, half of a centimeter.
Yeah.
And those tubes on those that stuff,
cheese.
it's like vermicelli. It's the tiny.
Yeah,
stuff.
that's a classy way to put it.
Thematic elements emerging for both of you. I feel like your choices have each represented.
Inside baseball here.
Jeff was really angry as he was saying that. There's this giant fly that has been stalking us this entire time.
It's been flying around Michael's head.
I'm trying the Harrison Ford finger of death at it, and it's not even, get off my plane. It's not even responding.
Jeff was on the side of a building holding Fay Ray. And his
swatting at
buzzard,
flies.
this buzzard
like
of a
biplanes. Okay, Michael, what's your second choice?
My second choice, another meal I didn't have until way late in life, but it's
Humble pie.
Oh, he still has never had that.
but has become a favorite since. Maybe in my mid-20s, I hadn't had a grilled cheese and tomato soup. Like a combination of like tomato soup and a grilled cheese sandwich.
This is getting
Wow.
weird a little bit.
But I love it now.
What was it like to grow up in Vladivostok?
We had rock.
we had
We had
rock.
one potato that we all shared.
Hey, tonight grilled rock. Hey,
Rock with pepper.
rock with pepper.
It all stems from just that feeling of I didn't like a combination of flavors. I liked a grilled cheese sandwich, but I wouldn't say I ever had eaten tomato soup.
Okay.
I'd kind of just like rejected it until one day it was like I don't remember how it happened. I think I might have been sick or someone. I don't remember how it sprung about. And then it was like that dipping of a grilled cheese sandwich in like just the generic Campbell's tomato soup, and it was just like oh, I get it. It's the same thing with the mac and cheese in college. Like I understand. My eyes are open, and like whenever you want like a warm meal, like we're getting pretty close. I know it's like 87 degrees out today here in LA, but like we're getting really close to it almost being almost close to being close to the starting of grilled cheese and tomato soup at night. Easy season, meal season.
Usually on the news, they usually have something about it. It says, hey, everybody.
Pumpkin spice lattes come out, and then tomato soup and grilled
Dallas
cheese.
Reigns has the cheese and the tomato icons.
Yeah.
You usually see Santa come along, and it's just like a tomato. And
I was
going
to say, as a Midwestern kid who encountered at least 3 months of snow to when I moved to Minneapolis, 6 months of snow, warm weather, warm you up foods were more prominent in the recipes, I think, there. So do you think, were you to have grown up in a place that had more cold days, more opportunities to
Yeah,
get a toasty
did a
meat?
lot of surfing to school,
Right.
and then
Well, we
having a
still
lot
surf
of just
still
ice
surf
cream every
everywhere.
day,
Yeah.
and then
Still surf everywhere.
yeah, that's right. 'Cause there's earthquakes and
How
freeway
many snow
shootings.
days have you had so you didn't go to school?
Well, zero, but
Zero,
that, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Okay,
Don't
fair
be
enough.
But I understand. I think your point is super valid in that there are a number of regional things that you probably experience a lot more because of that. But mine, I think, was more psychologically limiting on my own behalf. It was just like I wouldn't even try it until I got to the point where it's like, oh, this is stupid.
Okay.
I'm super excited to learn what else Michael never ate as a kid. Next on his list, carrots.
Carrot. What? So have any
Those
of
blue
you?
things that come out of the ground? I don't know what carrots are.
I'm interested because there's comfort food and there's also like feeling better because you got a tummy ache or you're sick food. I don't know if
that's
anybody else
interesting.
has anything like that on their list. Okay.
Most of my stuff will make you sick. So
Oh, perfect.
that's more
Yeah, I guess, like the
Sprite or 7-Up. You'd always have a 7-Up if your stomach hurt. That'd be one thing if you had a upset stomach as a kid. You could always grift some sort of like 7-Up from your parents you wouldn't normally get.
have you heard about like the cold versus warm Sprite 7-Up thing or warm ginger ale thing?
What?
So I don't know if I told this story on the podcast. I went to a friend's, the mother of a friend's funeral in the last few months, and I was really sick going into it. I didn't realize I had like some sort of like stomach flu or whatever, and I threw up all over the funeral parlor. Like I was sitting in the pews.
You're serious?
Yeah, and then
you had the pews.
and then I had the pukes. I had to run to the bathroom, and I threw up all over the bathroom. This is like my best friend growing up, his mother, who was like a second mother to me. And she passed away, and I was like supposed to be like a pallbearer and all this stuff, and I just ran to the bathroom, just spilled my guts all over the bathroom. And the people there were really nice, and they're like, it's happened before. And they came back, and I was sitting outside in like the waiting room. I couldn't go back inside.
Mm-hmm.
And someone said, here's a warm ginger ale. And I was like, do you have a cold one? He's like, no, don't drink it cold. It won't do it. It won't like settle your stomach, whatever the cold adjective. So when you said the 7-Up or Sprite, I immediately, and he's talking about being sick, and we're all over the place.
Did it work?
I threw up on the way home too. I had to pull the car over and puked on the side of the road. It was awful.
I imagine at a funeral home, everything's warm except for the hands of the funeral director. Everything's creepily warm.
But I don't know. I don't think any of mine are like sick foods because they're all like, they're all like cheesy and the stuff that clogs you up in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or your heart.
Yeah. And it sounds like things you're returning to as an adult.
Yeah.
Too. Richard.
It's chicken McNuggets.
Oh, wow.
So when I was a kid, I'd have to get allergy shots every week, sometimes twice a week, and they sucked. I mean, I really hated them. If you guys have never had allergy shots, every once you get it, and it would hurt. You have to wait around 10 minutes to see how badly your arm would swell up. And sometimes it'd be like a bowling ball sized knot would show up on my arm, and they'd, that's interesting, and mark it down. And
did they ever realize that you were allergic to the allergy shots themselves?
That's the problem, right? They don't test you for the allergy shots.
It's just a confidence game.
Oh, well, because when they first test you, they basically put a grid on your back.
Uh-huh.
And then they give you little tiny doses of all the different stuff to test if you're allergic to it. And I wound up testing for everything. I was literally
just
allergic
ran the board
to everything. Yeah, just like it was the full palette. And Jeff just gave me some chicken nuggets, chicken McNuggets.
They're super cold.
Oh right, my favorite.
No, they don't work if they're cold. You have to have them room temperature.
Hey, the funeral director is here.
Oh. So my reward, if I got my shots and I didn't freak out because I was 7 or 8 at the time, I had a good attitude about it, is my parents would take me to McDonald's when you're done and we get McNuggets. Mm-hmm. So there's something about McNuggets I think that takes me back to my parents taking care of me when I was not feeling happy, or as a reward for being a good boy.
I'm surprised you didn't become a intravenous drug user needle guy, because you have that positive affirmation after an injection.
Well, I get McNuggets after I shoot up.
Okay.
So that's the most important thing.
What is your favorite shaped McNugget? The boot shape?
Oh, the boot shape.
Okay.
Because it's got a real good
we could almost,
dipping
if there were more than 3 shapes, we could do a Mount Rushmore of
McNugget shapes.
But there's only 3.
There's the one that looks like George Washington's head,
right.
which is kind of this one a little bit. No, and I have a very specific memory of my dad teaching me how to use chopsticks. And he had learned in Korea. He was stationed in Korea during the war. Not the Korean War, different war, but he was just there. No. And it was right around the time that I think it must have been when sweet and sour sauce debuted. So this would have been early 80s, probably. Mid 80s.
Just in time for the comedy boom. Is it sweet? Is it sour? Am I right, people?
What's the deal with
this sauce?
What's the deal with the barbecue sauce? I never see barbecued nuggets. What's the deal?
So he showed me
how to. So then as part of the promotion, they handed out free chopsticks, with each meal. It was shitty break apart paper,
wooden
ones. Yeah. But yeah, he taught me how to use chopsticks, and you would use it to dip in the dipping sauce and all that stuff. So I have a very specific memory around my dad and him teaching me to use chopsticks with McNuggets.
Mm-hmm. Do you each have a person associated with the food? So does it?
A couple of them. I have one of my other ones is very specifically tied to my mom.
No, they're very very self-serving.
Because some of my comfort food is strictly from the grade school cafeteria, because my parents were kind of doing their hippie crazy thing, and so there wasn't a lot of comfort food at home. But when I went to the cafeteria at school, it was all this great salty mashed potatoes with the gravy all over and stuff that I loved. So whenever I think of comfort food, I think of this heavyset woman with a hairnet on, with plastic gloves on.
Mom?
She wasn't mom. I don't know. She's somebody's mom. Okay, so we are at our halftime, and at this point, I'm going to remind you that we like to hear from you at the Mount Rushmore podcast. So if you were to go to our Facebook site or our Twitter or our Instagram. You could share with us your ideas or suggestions for new episodes or your opinions about things that we've shared on previous episodes. We have had people come onto our Facebook site and make a suggestion and then end up being in the podcast.
You don't have to be on the podcast. We don't make
you. Don't have to, but you can get some of that sweet, sweet podcast money.
Woohoo! No money is involved.
Zero money is involved in this transaction. You could also do us a solid and go to our iTunes or
Pocket Casts or Stitcher or wherever you happen to listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
Give us 5 stars. Do us a solid.
Right on. 5 stars and leave a rating.
Yeah. Give us a good review, too.
Yeah.
We like reading those.
We love it. Another option.
Is there any prize for having the lowest ratings? Maybe every podcast has been going the wrong direction.
Oh, I think if we call it's like a game of poker, where if we call that, then
because like if you look on like the list of all podcasts, sure you can scroll to the top.
Yeah.
All the stuff in the middle gets lost.
Yeah.
What if you scroll down all the way to the bottom and it's just like number 100,042 and it's us, and then it's like, oh, yeah, we're at the bottom. Just all the way. You can scroll. Just go to the bottom.
Yeah,
we'll be there.
So we get the best draft pick the next year at the big podcast.
That's right.
That was the sports thing. Okay. You could support our podcast, or you could support one of the 1,000 billion other podcasts that are out there, like this one.
I'm JDC053, a confused clone without any pants.
I'm James Not a Cop, who is definitely not a cop.
I'm Tobias Clutterbuck, a terrible Victorian actor.
I'm Action 6 news reporter Chet Cleveland.
I'm star of the stage, Helen Slaymaker.
And I'm Lieutenant Starburst Cheez-It Taco Bell Esquire, the third.
And this is Rolling Misadventures, a podcast that's part tabletop real play,
part improvised audio drama,
and a complete and total fiasco.
Join us every 2 weeks for stories of mayhem,
murder,
and occasionally a moose.
So check out Rolling Misadventures
and see how it all goes wrong
at rollingmisadventures.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Dick bees.
And we are back, and we are excited because we're all sitting in our warm little sweaters, and we got some cartoons on, and we're all eating comfort food and enjoying this podcast discussion of comfort food. And Michael's going to share his third.
My third choice is Numero Uno pizza.
Oh, wow.
Not just any pizza. Not just Numero Uno is a chain that's here in Southern California. I'm sure they might extend past that, but I don't know.
I think here most of them are called Numero Uno, closed for business. Thank you for 25 wonderful years. That's usually the ones that I've seen.
Well, the ones, thankfully, that I go to are still around.
Okay.
Still open.
Okay.
And there is a very unique taste to the pizza. Mm-hmm. The crust is a little bit thicker. It's a little sweeter. It's kind of has this, the crust is chewy. It has these big chunky tomatoes on them.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since moving back to LA, I mean, it's been a long time since I've been back, since going to college and living in Seattle. Like, that's the pizza that, like, when I just want kind of shitty, fun pizza.
Yeah.
It's not the best tasting. It just reminds me of childhood, probably, because I grew up having it every once in a while. But it was so different from other, thin crust New York style, and it was very different than other kind of Domino's, Pizza Hut chain pizzas. I mean, it's, multiple locations. You can kind of get it anywhere. But there's something very unique to it that I'm very keen on. And I always feel a little bit ashamed whenever I want to order it at home.
Yeah.
If Emily and I are getting pizza. It's like, well, where do you want to go to? Oh, Danielle's is good. Nice thin crust pizza. Go to Joe Peeps. Oh, it's good. Just tasty. And then it's like, no. She's like, what? Nah, whatever. It's fine. And she had to come around. It's taken her a long time to come around on it, where she's like, okay, I can see why.
Are they the ones that invented deep dish? That's Pizzeria Uno.
Pizzeria
Chicago.
Uno, yeah. Them or Geno's or whoever. They can go duke it out in Chicago.
Right. They're not related. They're not related, though.
I don't think so. We've been to Pizzeria Uno, and it's nothing the same. That's a very traditional Chicago-style deep dish. This is more like, I don't know. It's baked in like a like a cast iron
Yeah.
sort of high-rise pan, like a deep dish, but it doesn't.
It's not a deep dish.
No,
It's
it
got
just has
the-
like a big.
It doesn't have
it's
the
got a
thick pie. That
Yeah.
It's not a big tomato pie like a deep dish.
And but yeah, there's always like, I don't know. Now Richard is trying to destroy this biplane that's attacking us. There's always something kind of like, I'm always kind of ashamed of it. Maybe it's because we've spent so many years doing Pizza Club, Richard,
Yeah.
where I like the small mom and pop things, and I like exploring new pizza. And like this has always been like that thing that you keep in your pocket, like, oh look,
Nobody
oh
knows.
there's
It's your secret shame.
yeah. There's the there's a high end restaurant critic who's stuffing his face full of chicken McNuggets and Numero Uno pizza. There's like some secret bad thing that you like that's like,
I think
he's not allowed to review restaurants anymore. He likes Numero Uno.
I think you've pointed out maybe one of the integral components of comfort food, and that is nostalgia. And nostalgia is based on consistency. So somehow Kraft mac and cheese has been able to keep that formula the same throughout your entire.
You know what you're getting with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what it is. And Numero Uno has kept their recipes the same. So
Yeah.
it's time travel. You go back to that
That's
moment
interesting,
where.
yeah.
Sure.
So were they not consistent, then whether good or bad, consistency seems to be
Like
the
how
prime component.
Domino's changed their whole recipe ingredients.
They went from shredded paper to like a shredded
More of a
cardboard.
waxy
Yeah.
paper, yeah.
They should never. I mean, stick with the original recipe.
So my next choice was going to be Little Caesars.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I think we're on the same
Bad pizza.
tip with this. Here's my thing about Little Caesars. Technically,
It's Caesarean pizzas.
it
To cut it out of the
cut it out.
oven.
You have to cut it out of it.
Gruesome.
They have it's a calzone, but there's a pizza inside of it.
you got to cut the calzone open.
That's awful.
I like it. It is tasty, and I say that with the raised tasty.
Mhm.
I believe it has a good sauce. The rest of it is pretty not great, but there is something about it that is like, hey, it's $5 pizza. Or now you can upgrade, by the way, pro tip, get that $6 extra most besteds pizza. That's actually not a bad pizza.
No.
I would say that is, if we had gotten that at a pizza club, Michael, we would have said, this is not a great pizza. But we've had worse at Pizza Club. That's exactly what we would have said.
What are the features of this
It's got more,
culinary
it's
enhancement?
got more cheese, and it's got like a bunch more pepperoni on it. So it's like more of the stuff that's mediocre.
For a $1
But for
more.
$1 more, you get extra mediocreness.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
mediocreness, yeah.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
So and we do this. I probably eat Little Caesars almost every week because Thursday nights are daddy nights because Sarah goes off to do her knitting circle or whatever she does. Don't ask questions. And so the kids are now obsessed with Little Caesars, and we have to get pizza. And it's easiest just for me to go. I can get 2 pizzas for $12, and then there's usually a whole pizza left over for them for like breakfast and lunch for the rest of the week. Also, Crazy Bread. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
Crazy Bread's real good, you guys. It's really good.
The marketing, the use of mental illness in marketing for food is widespread.
Like depression?
El Pollo Loco.
Oh,
There's like always insanity used.
like crazy. Yeah.
Or just marketing in general, like Crazy Owls. Yeah.
psychotic. schemes.
Clinically depressed stands.
Yeah.
Is there
Mattress store.
Crazy Owls? Let's make up a place that I'm sure has existed, or Crazy Owls Discount Electronics. I am instantly attracted to the idea of taking advantage of a mentally disabled person to get a better price on a big screen TV. That is insane. Like that's that is their marketing slogan. Is this person has to be
Yeah. Crazy.
defined as legal by the criminal justice system, and
Yeah.
you can get a TV
With
from
deals like this, I have to be crazy, but also I see visual hallucinations.
I can't tell the difference between scissors and a marker.
Yeah.
So, come on in.
Or we should get more specific. Bipolar Benny's mattress shop or something like that.
That's a
Get a great-
two for one deal there.
Get a great deal. Or not.
Or not.
Depends how Benny's doing.
Okay, Michael, you're fourth.
My last one is a pint of Baskin Robbins Gold Medal Ribbon
Oh,
wow.
ice cream.
they're selling those now at the convenience store.
They sell them all over the place. Gold Medal Ribbon is the best.
Better than
Gold
world-class chocolate?
medal
Yeah.
ribbon?
Oh yeah, as a kid I would double up on world class chocolate and gold medal ribbon.
That's a good double right
That's
there.
a good double scoop there. But
Wow.
you can get like the good pint of ice cream. It doesn't have to be this particular one, but for me it's this one. But just a pint of ice cream watching a movie at home is the most comfortable, amazing thing. The only trouble is that you never do the pint of ice cream math.
No.
Where you think you're going to be able to eat enough so you have half of it for the next night.
Yeah.
And you end up eating like 3/4 of it.
Uh.
And so you're angry at yourself on the Saturday night you is angry at Friday night you because you've eaten too much on Friday night. So Saturday night you is like, God damn it, I told him not to eat that much. I told him to not those 2 more bites. Oh, I can't believe he did that. There needs to be a line inside.
This is halfway.
It says halfway, like
Yes.
a red line that's just printed
I think
inside
you put
the wax cylinder.
a second lid in there, like the frosty malt at the ball game.
Yeah, or like a plastic sheet that
Yeah.
like fills up plastic sheet thing, and then you eat down to the plastic sheet or the line. You're like, all right, I got half of this left. That's not so bad. I know what I'm doing.
Because you're lucky if Saturday night you actually has a quarter of that pint left.
That's true.
With my problem
That's
is
true.
I reached that because I have the exact same problem as you. But what I do is I go, you know what? I've only got a quarter of this left. That's not going to be enough for tomorrow.
Power through it.
Might as well just go through this, and I'll just get a whole new pint tomorrow. They need to be a pint and a half. Or would that matter?
No,
if it was a pint and a half, would
yeah.
you wind up eating the same 3/4 no matter what?
That's entirely true because it's all deceptive. It's the way the cartons are built at an angle. Mm-hmm. If they were like a straight cylinder, you could be like, okay, I can kind of see. But since you eat so much at the top, and then you're like,
You got to do geometry to try to figure this out.
and listen, at 10 o'clock, and you're
watching Glow or
90
something.
minutes into a 2-hour show, and you're like, I screwed the math on that ice cream. But I love Gold Medal Ribbon ice cream. It's the chocolate and the vanilla and the caramel swirl.
Caramel or caramel?
Whatever.
I know. I was just curious. You said caramel?
Well, now I don't know. Chocolate, vanilla, and caramel. Chocolate and vanilla and caramel. I don't know. I guess it would depend on
How
if
it
my
comes out
mouth
of your
was mouth was full of caramel or caramel.
Okay, so
Do you have a favorite ice cream, Jeff? Your
I
go-to.
I can't say that I do. I like mint chip. If I go to a Baskin Robbins, I always feel if I eat something other than mint chip, I walk away thinking, fucked up ice cream. Should have had the mint chip. Like I should have had the
incredible
pad thai. Should have had the spaghetti.
Jeff could be like self-doubting about.
I
ice
fucked
cream.
it up.
Yeah, I fucked that
Fucked
up.
it up with this butterscotch ripple or whatever that stuff is.
My sister was a what's the one that only comes out during baseball nut?
Baseball nut. Yeah.
She was a baseball nut person, and I think she liked pralines and cream.
Get the coffee ones out of here. I can do
Oh, I love the coffee.
that. I don't drink coffee, so there's the.
It
Problem.
does seem like, hey, there's cigarette flavored ice cream.
right.
Here's something from your youth. Tastes like the corruption of adulthood.
Here, it's whiskey flavored.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Literal whiskey.
With ice cream, the small pints I associate with petty theft because we used to go to the convenience store and purchase a big 1 million ounce fountain drink.
Sure.
But before you filled it up, you would put stuff in it, like little pints of ice cream, a candy bar, or in some cases a beer. Put it in there. Then go to the fountain and pour Pepsi on top of the thing. Then try to get a straw in there to try to make it seem more realistic. And then go up and pay for one fountain drink, please. And inside is a pint of ice cream, maybe a pack of cigarettes, some cigarillos, a Playboy magazine.
I was going to say, how are you keeping all this stuff dry?
Well, most of it's stuff
Super
that's
big gulp.
sealed inside of a thing.
A keg.
But it was always ice cream. So,
That is so weird. I thought you were gonna say like you would dump it in there to make like some sort of like float.
no, it
before
was
you
to
brought it up or
steal it.
something.
The soda was the concealment device. It was the Trojan horse,
That's incredible.
if you will.
That's ingenious.
Yeah,
No, I never thought of that.
I learned it
I
from my criminal
I
friends.
used to put Playboys and Hustlers inside of bigger magazines and go buy those.
Oh, really?
That was my little sneaky.
Hey, just
like,
me. I'm just
teenage
reading
thing.
this Rand McNally atlas.
Yep. Real interested in Life magazine, sir.
just breathing heavy from the state of Montana here.
Montana's pretty fucking.
Oh my God, mountainous. Okay, so Michael has done his fourth. Richard, what's your fourth?
My fourth is bacon sandwiches.
Whoa, wow.
So, by the way, you want to know what is a good recipe for having a heart attack at 38? Spending your youth eating 4 to 5 bacon sandwiches every day for breakfast.
4 to 5.
Which would be, one of them would be 2 pieces of bacon. Then you put it on a piece of white bread, and then you fold the white bread over.
Okay.
So that's one.
Okay.
So we're talking 8 to 10
Okay.
pieces of bacon in the morning for
On
breakfast.
4 to 5 bread.
This is like what Jethro Clampett would
Yeah.
eat for breakfast, I think.
Yeah,
Pretty
well-
roughly similar.
What was there? Butter or
No, there's no butter.
mayonnaise?
No, there's no condiments. No, I would. What do I seem like? Uncouth?
I hope you didn't have to enter the spelling bee or speak in public. It seems like the driest thing you would ever consume.
Well, you got the grease from the bacon.
Oh,
that
lugging it,
kinda
washing it down.
That kind of sops into your rainbow bread.
Wow. Was it white bread, you said?
Yeah, white bread, like
Yeah.
your rainbow type bread.
Okay. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Was this consumed by the whole family, or did they just give that to you because they wanted you to be a champion wrestler or something like that?
No, I'm trying to think. It was something that the family would have occasionally, but me, like Michael, being a picky eater, it was something I latched onto as a breakfast thing, and for whatever reason, my mom would just make it for me.
Wow.
And which is wild. I think about this. So that means my family must have gone through, do the math here.
Yeah, how many pigs? How many pigs?
How many pigs did I kill in a month, or just even in the course of like a week? They must have had to get 3
Packs of bacon.
a week. I don't know what they thought was going on at the store. What
Well,
kind of like bacon
Was
cult
that
we thought we were
prescribed?
in.
Was that prescribed by any of your MDs that were hovering above you?
My
in
allergens?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a way to get over my pork allergy. They'd
Overload him.
overload it with pork and see what happens.
I just wonder, like, what doctor, Yugoslavian physician said there's not enough salt in his system. We need more.
He needs more salt. He
He
needs
needs-
more grease.
Yes.
He needs more nitrates.
But so that definitely is something that when you eat it now, feels comforting, nostalgic.
It feels comforting and nostalgic. I don't know that I've had it in a long time for obvious reasons. Heart attack at
Yeah.
38.
Bacon is one of those things that's a much loved food item. I think a lot of people derive comfort, even if it wasn't something
that
was from
you
their
grew
childhood.
up
Yeah.
with necessarily. And for whatever reason, the combination of the gumminess of the white bread, because white bread's rainbow bread, it's crap.
Yeah.
It's crap bread. Sorry, rainbow. But for whatever reason, the gumminess and the almost like kind of lack of texture or taste of the white bread kind of works with the bacon, because the bacon's got this greasiness and crispness and everything.
And the Borglum bag has been opened, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. When you evoke the white bread, the rainbow, or the butternut, or the different white butternut was the Kansas City Midwestern Bakery. My favorite comfort food ever was plain white bread with 1 slice of American cheese on it, and not mayonnaise, but Miracle Whip on it. So this is not a good food. None of this is good. All of it's 3 different artificial bleached flour bread. Miracle Whip, which is not advertised as a sandwich bread, it's salad dressing on the side of the thing. It's a salad dressing, and then usually the Kraft Singles, which is cheese food, not cheese.
Cheese flavored.
Yeah, because there's never any curd or whey or anything involved in it. So
This is the food that a few weeks ago we were talking about the post-apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
This is the food that they're eating on board, like the Starship Earth or whatever it is.
It's all the stuff that lasted.
Yeah, it's the stuff that, like, 300 years from now, 500 years from now, this is the only food available. It's the processed cheese, processed bread, processed
Stuff
Miracle.
that lives on way past its
Yeah.
expiration
yeah,
date.
Yeah.
it's more preservative than food.
Yeah.
yeah.
We should do an episode on that.
Good idea.
So I don't think of, when I think of this, I don't think of like a cold wintry day. I think of a summer day when my dad was, for some reason, the lifeguard at a pool.
Jeff Cass.
And mostly what he was this kind of hustler who would work at this motel pool. And I don't know who he was, what his angle was or whatever, but I know that 3 or 4 days a week out of the summer, my dad would take us to this pool, and there was always ladies laughing at his jokes, and he would go into another room, and he'd come back, and I'm not sure what was going on.
The grifting days of Jeff Hopkins and family. He's stuffing like Hostess cupcakes and pint of ice cream and cigarettes
soda.
into his soda, and his dad's
Oh, man.
a quote lifeguard, unquote.
Lifeguard hustler. I'm not sure what he would. I know that
going on?
I know what he was
Do
doing.
the FBI listen to podcasts? They
every
should listen to
night there
this.
was his comedy diving routine. So like he and Rodney Dangerfield, he had a repertoire of hilarious dives that
They do the farts under the arm thing and
yeah, it was usually like
do
a
a jackknife.
double flip into a cannonball or like the triple Lindy, but his own jam. And we would have this white bread with Miracle Whip and one slice.
Well, listen, he has no time to actually make any food. 'Cause
No.
he's got the side hustles. He's
He's
got
got-
side
yeah.
hustle upon side hustle going.
Yeah, he's got his important
He's got to
ladies to woo with his diving prowess.
he's got to put white processed bread on the table.
I imagine Steve Miller's The Joker was playing like from our turntable nearby.
Man, I had those cold chicken McNuggets while you
Yeah.
told me that story. It was so
Oh,
good.
you did eat those. I was so
It
happy.
was so good.
Okay, well, I guess it's judging time because we've been deliberating the Mount Rushmore of comfort foods. And I'm just going to go with what I see Richard is clearly demonstrating his love for chicken McNuggets. So for believability and veracity, I'm going to go with chicken nuggets. And because it really took me back to Michael's childhood, which he doesn't know, but I was peering at him throughout like a Obi-Wan Kenobi hovering over Luke
Wait, what?
in the desert of Tatooine. Buttered noodles. Let's go with buttered noodles. And just because it brings an element of drama, meaning it could throw you into cardiac arrest at any moment. Bacon sandwiches. And there's something really... Oh, Numero Uno pizza was the first really exotic pizza that I had from a kid growing up in Kansas City. It was
Hell
really
yeah.
exotic.
Exotic.
So
Don't they have Kansas City style pizza that's like just got like shredded pork and barbecue sauce, Gates barbecue
it's
sauce,
all
slathered
barbecue
on it?
and
Arthur Bryant.
yeah, some Charlie Parker sheet music, jazz sheet music is in under the pie. So
And a history of teams that have just moved in and out of your city.
yeah, it's so sad. So those are. Did I get all four?
Yeah.
Okay. Those are the Mount Rushmore of comfort foods. Let us know what your comfort foods are. We'd love to hear from you on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And this has been the Mount Rushmore podcast. I, as always, am Jeff.
I'm Richard.
I'm Michael.
That was a good one.